What's going on, Wisconsin? Hopefully, you got your umbrellas with you because, man, apparently that's all it does in Wisconsin these days is rain. It's cool. We'll deal with it. We'll take it. I don't know. It's been crazy. I swear last year it was like we didn't get enough rain. Now it's just going nuts. If we got any farmers in the comments, let's hear how it's going. I don't know if it's a good thing. A lot of the corn I see doesn't look like it's doing very well. So I'm not sure if this much rain is good for crop. Question mark. Jill's in the house. Thanks for swinging by, Jill. Much love. Randy's in the house as well. Much love, my man. Appreciate you guys swinging out on this Friday. Heath is here right away, too. Thanks for stopping out, Heath. Appreciate you, man. We're going to catch up on a couple articles that we got interrupted rudely on Wednesday. That was really weird. Hopefully, we're not getting hacked or cyber attacked this evening. We'll see what Zuck lets us get away with. But no, want to start by thanking the sponsors. Much love to Higher Love, the fine folks up in the UP when it comes to cannabis products. I highly recommend them. It's worth the drive, especially compared to Illinois pricing, in my opinion. But also the quality. Love the deli style flower. Being able to check it out, see it weighed out, in my opinion, that's the way to do it. But also really like the organically grown strains that they grow themselves. Blue Dream is my current go-to. Much love to them. Again, their locations: Menominee, Norway, Ironwood, Munising, Marquette, Crystal Falls, and Houghton. Make sure you check out the code above us to use on your first purchase there. It hooks it up. We got Gresham in the house with the presidential candidate, Danny. I'm pretty sure you could have smoked them boys last night, Danny. Oh, my God. We'll get into that in a minute. We got Ignite Dispensary. Shout out to Ignite. If you're looking for any of the products in Wisconsin, if you haven't tried Wisconsin product and you're not a believer, I highly recommend you check it out. When you know where the source of the quality of the product is coming from, there are great hemp options out there. Ignite is located in Milwaukee, Spooner, Hayward, Superior, Manitowoc, New Richmond. Jill, that would be a great idea. Send your viewers some products. I wonder if these guys would be down. Obviously, we can't send Higher Love products, but I wonder if we could check in with our buddies at Ignite. That's a great idea. I will check into that. Also, much love. Friday, we're going to start drinking a little drink on Friday's shows tonight. My boy Wade over at Honeybee Cannabis. This is my favorite drink at the moment, the strawberry lemon of his drinks. There's only 10 grams of sugar? Or no, 15 calories and 4 grams of sugar. And it's like the perfect balance of not too sweet. Sarah, I think they do. Let me find out. Or no, I can find out. Oh, yeah, it does. Online store here, it says. So, yep, you can definitely check out their products there as well. Recommend doing that. We've got a few things, but let's start with the debate last night. We're not strictly political. And actually, I try not to be involved in politics, but as we know, we have to do some keeping up with the times and figure out what's going on. That's how it rolls. Love Honeybee. Yes. Sarah knows what's up. Let's go. You can get that at Woodman's, any Woodman's across the state, which is pretty dope. That presidential debate was something else. I don't think we should spend too much time on it. I just cannot believe this is what we got to deal with when it comes to, trying to be the United States of America, the American dream, all this stuff. And these are the two guys we got to choose. I really wonder what the other people across the world think when they see highlights from that debate of the two people that have been selected as presidential candidates for the United States of America. It is just silly. It makes sense more and more the more you see these people, how something as simple as legalizing cannabis is taking such time because it's all got to be a game. It's got to be. It's just crazy. I don't get it. Raul in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. Appreciate the love, supporting us, and stopping out for a minute. But anyways, Jill's not voting for either. I can't blame you on that front. It was something. But let's start with some good news, and hopefully we don't get disconnected tonight. We got the NCAA votes to remove marijuana from banned substance list for college athletes. I was really excited. I mean, it's still a move in the right direction, but I thought it was removing marijuana from the banned substance list in general, but it's only for championships, I think is what it is here. Let's dive into it. see what kind of take this is and what the details are. Excuse me. But yeah, it looks like according to the article here, the NCAA has voted to remove marijuana from its banned substances list for Division One players effective immediately. So props on the immediately, because it seems like everything takes so long with cannabis, as we talk about. But it says about 5 months after the council proposed the rule change, the body adopted the policy, emphasizing that cannabis is not a performance-enhancing drug, and it should be treated the same way as alcohol. Bingo! Maybe these guys can talk to our political folk here in Wisconsin, our politicians. But as it said here, the NCAA drug testing program is intended to focus on the integrity of competition, and cannabis products do not provide a competitive edge. The council's focus is on policies centered on student athlete health and well-being rather than punishment for cannabis use. So the NCAA came out and said, they got a quote here on their Twitter, cannabinoids will be addressed like other non-performance enhancing drugs like alcohol. NCAA members are focused on harm reduction strategies, problematic cannabis use, centering health of student athletes. But again, I wanted to see, okay, here it is. So they removed cannabinoids for championships and postseason participation in football. So again, they're getting there, but it's a start. Slowly, surely, America is coming to its senses after 50 years of the failed drug war. It's only fitting that the NCAA remove cannabis from its list of banned substances. There's been a couple people that have had suspended Olympians due to testing positive for THC and such. So maybe we can get something similar set up for that, because it's just crazy that, enjoying a relaxant or something to help with your pain, and again, not a cure all of pain, but just to help deal with pain. So like, especially football players and stuff, it just makes sense to me that they use cannabis. I can't imagine what it feels like, your body feels like after playing an NFL game. But good news for NCAA. Jill says, how about them truck drivers? We got that coming up next, Jill. Jill's helps with most of the articles we read through come through Jill. She helps out with making sure we stay on top of all the news and happenings. But real quick, getting back to this here, it looks like the timing of the discussion and adoption of possible legislation is a decision that will be made by each of the 3 NCAA divisional governance structures. So it could come down to that. I'm assuming they're talking as far as the different conferences go and stuff throughout the normal year. So we'll have to see how things shake out. But again, any step in the right direction seems like a major step these days, because it is such a crazy world we live in, a crazy time where the best we have out there are the 2 presidential candidates we have. Kind of crazy. Gotta get a little sip of this strawberry lemon real quick here. Oh, there it is. Let's go. All right. So anyways, good news for NCAA participants when it comes to the championship and the playoffs. And we'll see if that doesn't spark something else going across the conferences and stuff. I think it should definitely be throughout the season, not just the postseason. And actually kind of interested as to where that came from. But hey, it's a start. We'll take it. Like I say, anything in the right direction, especially effective immediately, that's huge, because I swear all we keep hearing is, oh, this might happen, that might happen. We'll know more in 4 years. Like, what the hell is going on out there? So shout out to the NCAA for, in my opinion, getting it right, at least as far as the playoffs and the championship goes. But I would love to see that just year round. We'll see what they come up with next. Moving along, we got truckers support marijuana rescheduling, but industry group warns of significant negative consequences. Was wondering what the negative consequences might be. They might be happy, hungry, sleepy when they're not driving. Let's see what they've got here. It looks like the country's leading trucking trade group is warning that rescheduling marijuana could lead to significant negative consequences for both the industry and motorists on the road. But many individual truck drivers disagree, with some having filed comments with federal officials in support of the rescheduling move. But this is the association that they got a letter from, is the American Trucking Association. They wrote a letter to the U.S. Transportation Secretary. They've got What do they got here? We remain concerned about the broad public health and safety consequences of reclassification on the national highway system and its users. Um, that we're not saying people should be high and drive trucks. Okay, I think let's get that out of the way. Well, let's see what their take is. Let's see here. It's here's a quote from the letter. It is critical for transportation safety that we maintain the scope and scrutiny of testing that currently exists for individuals engaged in safety sensitive industries. Wrote the senior vice president of regulatory affairs for the ATA. Returning to quote, given the seemingly inevitable increase in marijuana impaired driving following a federal rescheduling, ATA is committed to working with DOT and other stakeholders to prevent marijuana related crashes and fatalities. And so they've said here that they intend to engage with the DOJ, the DHHS or HHS, other federal partners, explicit allowance for testing marijuana use by DOT regulative sensitive work. So they're on that train again, where once it's legal, more people are going to be high and driving. That's not. I think people who are going to use cannabis are already going to use cannabis. We don't think it's already everywhere from the street corner to legal states around us. Especially if you're driving truck and you're in a legal state, like they don't understand. But I don't think that because you legalize something that means people are going to start using it and driving with it. A lot of them are probably already using cannabis and have to do whatever means they need to pass a drug test. Where like I feel like these people should be focused on, instead of trying to shut down rescheduling, why don't they try to help with finding some of these tests that are roadside tests that are actually out there in development and stuff? Why don't we get those off the ground and support that? Because what scares me is I just feel like the truck driving, this American Trucking Association, I feel like they probably have a lot of money. So that doesn't leave a good feeling in my stomach when we're talking about this big association and they want to work with different groups of different political groups to block rescheduling, which is scary because we have very little but some momentum towards rescheduling, at least. And then you talk about, this is just one group. As far as the truckers go, looks like they got a couple comments from the truckers. One trucker submitted a comment that says, we can go have drinks after we get done from a long day. Partaking in something that is known to cause death and serious injuries when incoherent, but we can't smoke something that has medical benefits, something that will help truckers sleep better at night, deal with pain from being behind the wheel and from basic physical activity from the job, and deal with the stress, anxiety of the job and being away from home. Bingo. This guy gets it. Man, I just feel like we hear that so often, and I don't feel like any of these politicians or, some of these groups that are fighting against us, they don't understand that person right there, which I think is the majority of us who use cannabis. This, it's not we're not looking to peek into the third dimension and like plot against the government or not have a job. Like we don't want to just smoke and not work. It's called responsible use. This guy finished up his letter. As a truck driver in the United States, I would like to be able to use marijuana on my time off. Oh no, there was another gentleman. He continued by saying, I believe it's unfair that I can lose my job and my license if I have used marijuana, and a month later I can still lose my job if I come out quote unquote dirty in a random drug test. The statistics are there and proven that alcohol is the leading cause of death in car accidents compared to nearly 0% with marijuana. Going back to the association, they said in the letter that marijuana and alcohol remain the most detected drugs in impaired driving crashes, resulting in serious or fatal injuries, although it does not attempt to compare the relative harms caused by the two substances. The group asserted, however, that marijuana continues to lead as the drug most frequently used by drivers. I want to see. Oh, yeah, here's another truck driver's comment. I would expect my drivers, this is a guy who owns a trucking company. I would expect my drivers to not drink alcohol at work, take NyQuil before a shift or a prescription that would interfere with driving, or get behind the wheel with lack of sleep, the commenter wrote, and the same would apply to those who take cannabis. Exactly. Common sense. Exactly, Joe. That's all it takes, right? Like, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's a pretty simple process as far as consuming cannabis, and you can definitely consume and wake up the next day and go about and be an adult, drive a truck. Like, come on. It looks like a federal report published earlier this year showed that the number of positive drug tests among commercial drivers fell in 2023. It fell by from 57,000 to 54,000. At the same time, though, the number of drivers who refused to be screened at all also increased by 39%. Okay, I don't blame them. Like, that's crazy. It was a record high number of refusals, came as the transportation industry faces a nationwide shortage of drivers, which some trade groups have said has only been made worse by drug testing policies that risk flagging drivers even when they're not impaired on the job. Yeah, I mean, I could totally understand that. Like that guy's talking about, I definitely feel like knowing me, I'm a pretty anxious fella. Like, always just like, oh, what do we got to do tomorrow? Same with like being away from the family. That dude, if I was a truck driver, I would need cannabis. That's just that's just me. But with stress, anxiety, man, it would be so nice just to boop. I mean, I could. Let me take it back. I could drive truck if I could use cannabis, because then I could sleep in my truck. I could sleep wherever, right? Like, take my gummy at bedtime, be responsible, zoink out just about anywhere, then be able to wake up the next day and get at it, not impaired. So it's really not that we're not reinventing the wheel here. And hopefully we can try to get these folks educated, because I don't think they're listening to their drivers if they're talking about working with these departments to cancel rescheduling. So something else to keep an eye on. I'm guessing we'll hear more as the days go by, but as of right now, truckers, they have been really speaking up. But again, now we've got a association, the American Trucking Association, talking to the U.S. Transportation Secretary about don't reschedule. We'll see how that shakes out. We'll see. All I can do is keep trying to educate these folks. This I definitely thought was interesting. Take another little sip here. Hold on now. I want to see how they're going to run this. New York dispensary launches illegal cannabis buyback program, enticing consumers to transition to legal market with discounts. What are your when you first read that? What's your take on that? Good idea? Bad idea? It sounds interesting. That is for sure. Let's see how they're going to shake this program out. A New York marijuana dispensary is taking steps to help eradicate illicit cannabis businesses that have proliferated in the state by offering discounts and benefits to people who transition to the legal market. Right there, that's where I'm at. Like, huh? Housing Works, which is the parent company of the state's first legal adult use dispensary, Housing Works Cannabis Co., announced the illegal cannabis buyback program on Thursday. As regulators continue their push to shut down unlicensed operators, the company is providing consumers with incentives to transition. So it looks like this is in effect. Jill's got the same look. And actually, what did Heather say? I'm never impaired when I work. I can function very well, right? Exactly. We are adults, right? A responsible use. From July 1st to September 1st, so you got a little window here. Any person who provides proof of membership at an illicit operator. Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about like bringing your weed in. Any person who provides proof of membership at an illicit operator will get a free membership at Housing Works Cannabis Company's co-conspirator program, which includes 25% off their first purchase and a 10% discount on all their purchases for the next year. The membership normally costs $25. It says the buyback initiative is crucial not only for the health and safety of our customers, which is always our top priority, but also for the legal business operators and those who have fought hard for a place in New York's legal cannabis market. That's from the director of retail. When you purchase from a legal dispensary, you can rest assured that the purchased products have gone through rigorous state testing and approved for safe consumption. On top of that, we've been advocated for the safety of the community for 30 years, and 100% of our proceeds go back to Housing Works. This is a pivotal movement for us. So, oh man, they really had me. I thought there was going to be, I thought they were trying to take weed in off the streets. This is not really that big of a deal. I mean, a $25 membership, like, yo, thanks for hooking it up. But it's not a buyback, right? Is that not misleading? I think we got misled, folks. We got the old headliner, but that's what it says. It says illegal cannabis buyback program, but they're not actually buying anything back. Well, that's a lot less exciting than I thought it was going to be. Excuse me. Golly, what is going on? It's only 7:22. Okay, I'm not the only one. Cool. Sarah and Heather agree. That's three of us. Three's a crowd. We were in that together. We got bamboozled. But they got us to click and check it out. So we'll take it. Next, this is legit. This seems pretty legit. Smoking in the name of science. Who's down for that? What cannabis research could tell us next year? I had saw this article when I was looking up. I don't know if you saw, but there's been a few articles out about getting paid to smoke. And I just wanted to look into, obviously it's not going to be in Wisconsin, so it's not like I'm looking to apply, but just see what that actually looks like. And it looks like this place that I had stumbled across, I think this was in Baltimore. Well, it's on the Baltimore Banner is the news outlet. So I'm pretty sure this would be over there in Baltimore. So there's a glassed-in room called a negative pressure chamber squeezed inside another room on an upper floor of a research building at Johns Hopkins Medical Center campus. We call it the smoke box, said Ryan Vandry, a professor in the Hopkins Behavioral Pharmacology Research Unit who helps run the Cannabis Science Lab. It has a fancy nickname, but it's one of the most advanced marijuana research labs in the country where participants go to smoke marijuana in the name of science. It's one of the small number of labs in the country slowly churning out vital information about a drug that is already in wide use. Heather's in, right? Let's check it out. I am down. Marijuana now being a billion-dollar industry in Maryland with more than 118,000 registered patients and more than 1.2 medical and rec dispensary transactions monthly. Sales provide income to small businesses, public health programs, and the state's general fund. As of July 1st, it's been a year since Maryland legalized recreational cannabis for adults. Let's see what we got here. They could potentially remove research red tape and spur more studies of benefits and risks with the rescheduling. Billions of people are using cannabis, and there are 18 people or labs studying it. We need to know more about it. Absolutely. Sarah says, they blinded me with science, showing my age there with that old song. Oh, God. There you go. They blinded me with silence. Jill says she's down to go. Let's check it out. It must be thundering out because the poor dog is here shaking. Oh, buddy, yeah. His mom's out of town. Hang on. So take care of. We're on Mackie duty tonight. Say hi, Mackie. Say, Dad, why are you always talking about that stupid plant down there in the evenings? We'll hold him up here for a minute, though, because, yeah, it must be thundering out there. He's shaking. I didn't give him no CBD yet. Shout out to Higher Love. Going to be popping that in here soon. He loves his CBD. It says here the process to reclassify. He's like, what is this microphone thing? It's okay, bud. You don't have to talk. I got it. The process is in place for rescheduling. Don't lick the microphone. You're hiding behind the microphone. You don't want to be on there, do you? They said Hopkins wants to be among those the federal government taps to show others how to stand up a proper cannabis research operation and possibly work together on standardization for the industry. That would be smart. Cannabis remains illegal on the federal level. Even with the reclassification and cumbersome regulations remain, which we're well aware of. The door will not just fling wide open, right? Said Johnson, who also serves on the state's advisory board on medical and adult use cannabis, and who spoke during a recent panel discussion with colleagues from the University of Maryland. We got Javin in the house. What's up, man? Oh, Max, Sarah says you're a sweet baby. Yeah, you got no idea. He is the master of mischief. But then he always gives me that sweet, innocent look. Just like our daughter's gonna do. It's hard to say no, folks, but we're learning. We're learning. The law is blurred by other federal policies, including legalizing the Farm Bill, the 2018 Farm Bill. Still needs to be sorted out, he stated, but within the official system of Maryland, he said there are laws against advertising to children, two rules that assure adults of quality. It's not clear, however, if more young people use cannabis where it's legal for adults, although we saw a few reports come out saying otherwise. Javin's in the house. From other states, adult use of non-medical cannabis increased after legalization, but it's not true for adolescents. Correct. The latest data from Maryland Youth Risk Behavior Survey just released found that 14.4% of high school students were using marijuana in 2022, and that's down from 19.8 in 2013. So interesting, but again, it's always hard to say. I don't know if I was in high school. I don't know if I'd answer that truthfully. It would all depend, you know. So she said, we're buckling in, though. In the next 5 years, we'll probably see a lot more changes. Yeah, I'm thinking so. But it's cool that there are some labs out there. They call it the smoke box at Johns Hopkins Bayview campus. One of the 18 labs that are out there, which hopefully we'll only see grow in numbers. This next one that we were going to touch base on, just kind of looking at. So I got sent this one. It hit we should talk about this. A few weeks ago, we talked about the Chinese funded and staffed marijuana farms that are springing up across the U.S. I did not realize this is like a whole conversation, this article. I've got to break this apart a little bit. This is like, if it were a book, it'd be like a big book. It's hard to say what they're talking about exactly. We'll try it here, though. We'll see what we got here. Because so basically, they did a bit on this on NPR. Javin says I'll volunteer, right? Let's go, man. Let's get it. So this was from last summer, where New Mexico special state agents inspecting a farm found thousands more cannabis plants than the state allows. And then on follow-up visits, they found dozens of undocumented shell-shocked Chinese workers. The workers said they had been trafficked to the farm in Torrance County, New Mexico, and were prevented from leaving and never got paid. Holy shit, I didn't know that was the case. The director of social services said they looked weathered. They were very scared and very freaked out. They are part of a new pipeline of migrants leaving China and making unauthorized border crossings into the U.S. via Mexico, and many are taking jobs at hundreds of cannabis farms springing up across the U.S. NPR did an investigation into a cluster of farms, which the industry calls cannabis grow operations, in New Mexico, found businesses that employ and are managed and funded largely by Chinese people. They're seeking opportunities in a flourishing U.S. cannabis market after the coronavirus pandemic led to a global economic crisis. But some of the businesses have run afoul of the law, even as states such as New Mexico have legalized marijuana. They got one of the people that they found agreed to interview, and they just refer to this person as L, obviously to hide their identity. This is one of the workers encountered at the farm in Torrance County. He was 41 years old, who came from China's central Hebei province a year ago. He asked NPR to use only his first initial. He said, though, that this is the reason he ended up there. He struggled to find work in China during the pandemic lockdown. He was forced to move out of his home after a state developer demolished his house to make way for a new project. Damn, poor guy. But his new apartment was never built, and he lost his deposit. So he went to the developer's office to protest. He got into a physical fight with employees of the company and was jailed. That was when a delusioned L sought videos on a sister app of TikTok in China about people purportedly earning good money in the United States. He had one influencer who kept messaging me his pay stubs in California, showing how he was making 4, sometimes $5,000 a month, and telling me how easy it was. He got in contact with the agent who promised to help him get to the U.S. Oh no, this is going to end bad. That's how he ended up here, I bet. Watching the videos, Elle learned how to walk the line to the U.S.-Mexico border. First, he flew to Turkey, then Ecuador. He then took a grueling month-long trip from South America to Mexico that included buses, boats, and a long walk through the hazardous Darien Gap jungle. This guy's been through it. The journey was full of countless trials. Border officials apprehended him but released him in July pending review of his asylum claim. He rented a room in Southern California, which is home to a large Chinese immigrant community. There, fellow Chinese immigrants introduced him to labor agencies that promised to place workers without documentation for a $100 fee. He had found it was a ad that was in Chinese language on their social media ad that said it was for cutting grass in a greenhouse, and that caught his eye. Said it offered $4,000 a month in cash for what seemed like easy work. He called the number and he ended up accepting, and now has been stuck in this ever since. When he got to the farm, he was surprised when he saw a hodgepodge of about 200 greenhouses. Oh my God, that's crazy. 200 greenhouses. Their phones had been taken away. The farm said it would cover food and shelter so you could save all your wages. But the farms just had a big dirt field. He also requested anonymity because he's applying asylum in the U.S. and fears being sent back to China. He said he's regularly worked 15-hour shifts alongside the greenhouse's manager. At the end of their shift, the managers left and the workers slept in the wooden sheds with dirt floors. 3 workers NPR interviewed said none of them were paid before the operation was shuttered. New Mexico authorities say a tip about worker conditions and zoning violations led them to visit the farm last year. Oh, so then they got busted? Oh, no. So then there's no money for them to be paid with. Javin said this has been going on for a few years and in most states. This is crazy, bro. Likely not Wisconsin, though, right? Not yet. This is crazy. Just a very disastrous grow. There was trash, water, fertilizers, nutrients, pesticides leaking into the ground. As soon as the officer stepped in, I think the red flags started going off everywhere. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible, dude. That's bad. This article is just going on to talk about how this is just one instance of a lot of folks who are trying to get in on the money train with weed becoming legal. Lots of people have been flocking over to legal states looking to get into the green money, no pun intended. We invested some of the strength recommendation, someone we thought was a close friend. It's a lot of people hearing about or finding, a way to these grows, and that's got to be tough because especially if someone says, oh, we're going to provide shelter for you, we're going to provide food for you, so of course we're going to be paying you. Like, how long do you let that go? And if you moved here from, if you don't have family around, or oh man, this is just a messy situation. There was 15 Chinese workers brought a lawsuit in 2023 alleging that Benelli and his associates made laborers work 14-hour shifts with no pay at the shiprock operation. So this is definitely not the first, like Javin was saying. This is something that you don't like to see, and something that makes you a little nervous, but it's kind of common sense. If someone, holy shit, we're okay, bud. I think house is still standing. The neighbors might not be, but that was loud. But again, there are always going to be cash grabs out there, especially with a new pioneering, if you will, industry. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to get their foot in the door to for when cannabis is legal, to be able to have that foot up in the industry. But we need to, keep people in check. We need to tell them we need to be paid where we're going to get paid, that kind of stuff. But again, this is just, I think there's a lot more of this going on than people realize. I'm going to see if I can't find some kind of numbers on that. I thought there was something here. I can't find it. I just was wondering, like, if they have a ballpark of how many immigrants they've got this stuff going on with. These people ruin cannabis for everyone, right? Common sense, exactly. This is not what we should be looking at when we're talking about how Wisconsin should be doing any kind of legalization. But again, just something to note that is out there, and make sure you do your due diligence when you're checking out things, especially going to work in a newer industry. But well, that is all I've got for tonight, folks. We gotta go get Max some of his bacon flavored CBD treats from Higher Low. He loves those, especially when it's thundering or fireworks. And to the guy down the road who keeps shooting them off at 1:00 in the morning, I hope you lose your fireworks. I can't say anything more rude than that. But I hope or your lighter. Hope you run out of fluid. Knock that shit off, dude. It's not funny anymore. 1:00 a.m. fireworks. Like, what the hell? But hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be back at it next week. And that's Bobby Beans, the podcast. We're out of here for the evening. Heather's rolling one. Peace out, Jill. I appreciate all you guys. Have a great night. We'll talk again soon.